Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Real Estate Walk and Talk. Today, we're going to be talking about long-term leases and why you should only be accepting 2 and 3 year leases for your rental properties. And if you have any questions about this, if this is the first time you're hearing about this, I have a whole web class where I teach about 2 and 3 year leases and why they're so critical. So you can watch that at jwbwebclass.com. But here's the deal. The greatest determinant of your success as a rental property investor is this. It is how long your residents stay in your homes. Because the reality is that the most maintenance cost and of course vacancy costs happen when your house has a property turn, when the resident turns over, when that resident leaves and a new one comes in. And it doesn't mean that you're going to have twice the cost if your resident stays twice as long, right? The costs are generally the same. It's normal wear and tear stuff. So if you can just defer that move out until 4 years down the line or 6 years down the line, rather than every single year, you are going to benefit dramatically. Over the life of your investments, these 2 and 3 year leases will save you tens of thousands of dollars on move-outs that don't happen for quite a while. And so it is a great thing to do for you, right? Some people say, well, what happens if I could get a rent increase, but I sign a long-term lease? Am I still going to be able to get that rent increase? Well, the answer at JWB is yes, you still can get that rent increase. And even if we couldn't, it would still make sense to keep your resident in your home for 3 years, for 4 years, for 5 years, when you consider the cost of a move out, right? And truthfully, it's not just the return on investment, it's the emotional pain that comes with a tenant leaving, because nobody wants to put money back into the house, right? It's not fun to put money back into your property, your rental property. It's not where you're living, right? You generally don't want to do it, and nobody likes to have a vacancy. So 2 and 3 year leases make a ton of sense. We've been doing this for, we started doing it 5 years ago, 7 years ago. And when we started to do it, every other property manager told us it couldn't be done. They said, you can't do it. Then they said, well, you have to get multiple people to notarize things and all that other stuff. Those are just excuses. You can do 2 and 3 year leases. The reason why most property management companies don't do it though, is because it's a whole lot of hard work and they don't have the incentive to do it. I see we've got 4 folks walking with us this morning on the Real Estate Walk and Talk. I appreciate you guys. David Grishman, friend from way back in the day in college. Good to see you, buddy. We're talking about 2 and 3 year leases and why it's so critical for your success as a rental property investor. And so if we know that long-term leases lead to long-term tenant stays and long-term tenant stays are the single greatest determinant of your success, then it would make sense that more property management companies would do it. But if you go to standard property management companies, they're only going to sign 1 year leases. The reason, again, is because it's a whole lot of extra work. When we go into this, we know that we're going to have much lower conversions of leads to homes rented because we require 2 and 3 year leases with our residents. And in order to support that, we have to have more staff. And in order to support that, we have to have better systems. We have to spend more on marketing, right? These are additional costs. And we do that because JWB is incentivized, right? We're incentivized to deliver the best return on investment for you because the majority of our income comes from home sales. This is different than typical property management companies. A typical property management company makes the majority of their income from tenant placement fees and, of course, monthly management fees. And so if you ask them to sign 2 and 3 year leases and not a 1 year lease, well, their tenant placement fee income is going to go way down. And they don't make more money when your returns are better, right? It doesn't matter because they don't sell property, so they don't have that incentive. The long-term goals aren't aligned, and that's why you don't see other property management companies signing 2 and 3 year leases. So 2 and 3 year leases, absolutely critical to your success as a rental property investor. And if you're not getting 2 and 3 year leases, you need to ask your property management company why. And spoiler alert, it's because they're not incentivized to do it. So you got to find somebody who is incentivized to do it. So watch that web class I put together. It's called How to Invest in Rental Properties Without the Headache. I go in great detail about 2 and 3 year leases. I appreciate the 4 of you walking with me right now. It's always wonderful to have you guys here and tuning in. I hope you have a great rest of the day and go crush it. See you.